Hi, and welcome to AnimalZone. I'm Arthur von Wiesenberger, and this handsome fellow is Mikey, my adopted pit bull. AnimalZone is the A to Z on everything about adoptable pets. Whether you're looking for a bird, a cat, a dog, or even a tortoise, we've got experts who can share their knowledge and insights. So cuddle up with your favorite critter and join us as we explore the AnimalZone. This week on AnimalZone, we're going to the Thrive Animal Rescue in Del Mar, California. You're going to meet Cece Durante, and then later on we're going to go to the Peace of Mind Dog Rescue in Pacific Grove, and finally Dr. Lesser in Carmel Valley is going to introduce us to all his beautiful animals. Stay tuned, AnimalZone is coming right up.
Bonjour Alex.
Bonjour Renaud.
Happiness? It's great food prepared the French way.
Chocolate eclair.
What makes you happy?
A touch of Paris.
Without the trip to France. Handcrafted daily in our bakeries, especially for you. Indulge yourself.
Bon appétit.
Please visit Renaud's in Gelson, Santa Barbara, Long Beach, and La Cañada, Flint Ridge.
The Santa Barbara Humane Society is an independent, local, community-based nonprofit with adoptable animals ready to find a forever home today.
At the Santa Barbara Humane Society, we provide low-cost spay and neuter services and vaccinations. It's important for your dogs and cats to get vaccinated to prevent illnesses. And spay and neuter surgeries help prevent unwanted pregnancies and can benefit the health of your pet.
At the Santa Barbara Humane Society, we want you to adopt, not shop.
Today we're at Thrive Animal Rescue in Del Mar, California with the founder, Cece Durante Bloom. And Cece, you've got all these beautiful pets with us.
They are. They're all rescue dogs.
Oh, and who's this little one here?
That is Morticia.
Oh, Morticia. I love the kisses.
Morticia from El Centro.
Wow.
Yes.
So you're rescuing animals from as far down as the border or beyond?
We're beyond, and we've gone to Louisiana, and we've rescued dogs from Louisiana during the hurricanes. So we go wherever we're needed.
Oh, that's terrific.
Yes.
And then they come here and you have, obviously, some of them need vet services and spade neutering, things like that.
Yes, they come here and they need a lot of care when they get here, a lot of downtime and a lot of care. We have a great group of girls that do that with us, and we have our vet office here.
Wow. How did you get into animal rescue?
I've always loved animals. I did the horses for a long time, and one day my daughter, about 8 years ago, we went to the shelter. We saw this beautiful old lab, and they said, oh, he's available on December 5th. Come back and you can adopt him. So we went back on December 6th, and they had euthanized him. And I was like, oh my God. So we ended up adopting the dog next door to him in the kennel next door, because we had to do something to help. And she was this terrified old young basset hound, but terrified. And she's been our family member, Macy, ever since. And I was like, we've got to do something here to help.
And it looks like you've really done it.
Now, so we have,
how many animals have you had adopted?
I think our nonprofit status we got in 2014, so I believe it's been about 1,200
That's
since
fantastic.
then. Yes, yes.
Wow. And
Yes.
it looks like you get all kinds. I mean, you've got little tiny dogs
I know.
and terriers and then labs, and there's one here that's the sort of the, I guess, Irish.
Come here, Willow.
Is it
Come here.
Irish setter?
She's a poodle Irish wolfhound
Wolfhound.
mix. Yes, she was probably a puppy mill situation, and she has a funny eye, so they put her in the shelter, and we got her from the shelter.
Wow, that's terrific. I mean, and I noticed that you do some interesting events too with animals. I think there was a yoga class you did with dogs.
We did a Kundalini yoga workshop with the dog Stevie that helps us. She does yoga, and we're going to start getting into doggy yoga and the mindfulness meditation with your dogs.
So the dogs teach us downward dog, stuff like that?
Yeah, we get that from them, right? They teach us how to be more
flexible,
human.
huh? More
Yes,
human, yeah,
yes.
really.
Yes.
Now, we can't help but mention that you are related to Jimmy Durante. You were his daughter.
I
is that right?
am his daughter,
You're his
yes.
daughter. And
yes.
Jimmy Durante is a big name in this town. Even at the hotel we were staying at was Jimmy Durante Boulevard.
Right.
What was it like growing up with Jimmy Durante?
It's all I knew, so he was amazing. Like people would say, oh my God, I would go places and sign my name, and they're like, that's your dad? He's the nicest man I know. He was kind and caring and wonderful, and he loved coming down to Del Mar. We had a house on the beach that we rented, and we stayed at for 20 years. He could have bought it on the beach in Del Mar for $49,000, and he said, no, I'll just rent it for 20 years. I was like, oh
well.
Yeah. So we came every year down here to Del Mar, and I just felt such a connection here to this area with the horses and the animals. And I used to come here and ride, take lessons here as a kid. My dad would bring me here.
Mm-hmm.
And then it ended up that we were able to buy this, and we've lived here for 28 years.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
was he an animal lover as well?
He was an animal lover. He loved the races. Him and Desi Arnaz started the Del Mar racetrack. So they were and Bing Crosby, they were all very involved in the races. So they would go to the races every day, and I'd hang out at the beach, and my mom went every day, and it was great.
What a life. That
Yeah.
must have been exciting.
Yeah.
And you end up coming here to Paradise anyway. That's
Yes,
terrific.
I grew up in Beverly Hills, and I always wanted to live on a farm.
Mm-hmm. And you
So,
got one. And I noticed
one.
you have a lot of horses here. I assume you're stabling them as well?
We have about 65 horses here, and we do board and training for hunter jumpers.
Wow.
So we travel and go to horse shows and all over the country.
What's your vision for the future for Thrive? What would you like to see happen?
I think we're a smaller rescue. We have about 10 dogs at a time, and what I'd like to see happen is people to realize that there are amazing dogs in shelters.
Yeah.
And it just chokes me up when I talk about it. You know, if we can help make a difference in any of these dogs' lives, and people be aware that they don't have to buy dogs from breeders, and what happens when you buy, I mean, not all breeders are like that, but you have to do your research if you're gonna buy a dog, because the puppy mills are horrific.
Yeah.
And there's great dogs in shelters, and we wanna give them the best life. We have an amazing team of people, you know, and we wanna get to know them and then place them in the right home so they stay, and we get to know the people that adopt them, and we're one big family.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, Cece, what a great job you're doing. And
Yeah.
I love your animals that you have here, and
So good.
I want to adopt them right now, but I hope our viewers will be in touch and find out
please.
more about Thrive Animal Rescue, which is in Del Mar, California,
Yeah.
and you have a website which they can check out.
We do, thriveanimalrescue.com, and we would love to find whatever, you put your wish list in and we will go searching the shelters.
Cece, thank you so much. I love being here. You have a beautiful place.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks
Thank
for your
you.
time
Thank
and
you,
for your
thank you.
wonderful animals and all the things you're doing
you.
for them. And we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we've got much more Animal Zone. Hey, take a look at these loving animals that you can adopt today. And don't worry, if someone beats you to the shelter, there are plenty more wonderful animals ready to find you and their forever home.
Every morning you could count on it being there with the rise of the sun. We're proud to say we've been there every day with you. The Santa Barbara News Press plans to continue sharing the news of the day with you all through the year and beyond. It's nice to know there are some things you can still count on. The Santa Barbara News Press, serving Santa Barbara since 1855.
Subscribe today. Call 1-800-654-3292.
Today we're at Thrive Animal Rescue in Del Mar, California, and we're with the team here that makes it all happen. We've got Stevie, we've got Chantel, and we've got Caitlin, and we've got some dogs. Tell me, who have you got there, Caitlin?
This is Gomez.
And Chantel, who have you got?
This is Morticia.
And finally?
Pogo.
Okay, so those are three beautiful adoptable pets that you have right here at Thrive. Tell me, how is Thrive different from other rescues around?
So at Thrive, we have the ability to create more of a home environment, which is really nice to set up the dogs for this success to go into their new homes. We have lots and lots of space. The dogs are always out. They're not kenneled, except for at night, of course. And we have trails in the back. So we do a lot of hikes,
Wow, so they get really exposed to normal living, not like living in an animal shelter per se.
Definitely.
Well, that's kind of good because that probably helps them make the transition to a home much easier.
Yes,
right?
definitely.
Now, some dogs, when they come into one's life, have bad habits. How do you deal with those?
So when the dogs first get here, we do try to, one, let them decompress. We are trying to set them up to be successful in a home, so we do work on crate training, potty training, and then we do have the ability to do some training sessions with them, and we try to teach them some basic manners, sit down, you know, and just overall we try to reinforce good behaviors when they're here. We try to provide enrichment for them through like food puzzle toys and chews, and just really try to set them up to go into a home successfully.
So ultimately, treats are what get the dog to do what you want to do, right?
Yes. So I am a certified force-free trainer. So I do use treats mostly, but also toys, anything that they find reinforcing. So for a lot of dogs, that is food, but also just human interaction can also be really reinforcing as well.
I mean, how much time do you have to do a particular thing? Like, say you want the dog to wait before you go through the door. So in fact, the dog doesn't burst through first. How long does that take to really imprint on the dog?
I think that you would be surprised. I think that specific behavior can be pretty quick. Most dogs learn it pretty quickly. So just with lots of consistency, I would say, is the main thing. Yeah.
Consistency in everything is always the case. Now also, of course, with all these dogs, you've got a lot of issues about vet bills and cost to maintain them. And I think, Caitlin, you've got some answers to that. What are some of the things that you can do to help dogs when they come to Thrive?
So a lot of them come with minimal vaccines. So first we want to make sure we do an overall health check, make sure they don't have any issues, and go ahead and get, some vaccines on board, make sure they're protective. And then any issues that come up, we take care of. If they have any sort of infection or illness, we can take care of it right here. And
that's pretty good. What are the biggest problems with dogs that come from shelters? What tends to stand out? Like, oh boy, here's another dog with heartworm or something.
Some heartworm cases, not very often. A lot of skin issues. Sometimes they haven't had any dental work, so they have some teeth issues. It's stressful being in a shelter, so a lot of them come and they're, like Chancel said, they're pretty shut down, and so they're not drinking or eating much. So we just work really hard to get them back to a healthy, happy state of being.
That's so great. I'm just thrilled to see how good you guys are doing with these dogs, because they all do seem to be very socialized. And I think that's really what people who are adopting dogs are looking for, a dog that's going to fit right in with the home. And maybe with other animals, right? Yes. Which is always a challenge. Well, thank you all for joining us on AnimalZone today. And doggies, thank you guys very much. And we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with more AnimalZone. Stay tuned. Hey, take a look at these loving animals that you can adopt today. And don't worry, if someone beats you to the shelter, there are plenty more wonderful animals ready to find you and their forever home.
Care for Paws was started in 2009 with the goal to reduce pet overpopulation and keep animals out of shelters, and also to ensure that pets can stay with their owners for life. We, from the get-go, established a free spay and neuter program that would help low-income pet owners fix their pets. So we provide shots, microchips, dewormer, flea treatment. We also have a veterinary intervention program. It's a way for us to help improve the quality of life for the animal as well for the owner, because when an animal suffers in the family, so does the rest of the family.
Now here we are at Peace of Mind Dog Rescue with the founders, Monica Rua and Carrie Broker. And thank you guys for having us over here and all our little friends here. Tell me a little bit about, first of all, who I've got in my lap.
You have Carly. She's my foster dog. She's a precious little girl. So she's available for adoption, and she's about 6 years old. Her owner can no longer care for her. She's just a gem of a girl. Loves to be a lap dog, as you can see.
Yeah, I think she's ready to go home with me.
Yeah.
And then you have, it looks like you have a little...
This is a...
is that like a Chihuahua?
It's a little Chihuahua. He's about 11 years old. I fostered him for a year, and he didn't end up getting adopted, so we adopted him.
He's a special needs dog. He has epilepsy that's pretty severe, so he very lucky to have landed with Monica and her husband.
We love him. And this is Hershey. He's our senior guy. He's 16 years old, but he's doing really well. He's also a rescue. This is Boo, another one of my foster dogs, who hopefully is about to be adopted on Tuesday. So that's wonderful.
And Boo's guardian passed away suddenly, so that's why Boo came to us.
Yes, and he, I guess, is called another foster failure. I was fostering him and ended up adopting him.
This is Zorro.
Wow, it's a good collection. I understand that you also have a lot of dogs that run around outside in the back of this wonderful building, and they get a chance to exercise and meet and greet their potential forever home owners. That's great.
Yes. And I'll just say that we don't let the dogs run around in the back unattended. We always have somebody out there just so that everything's safe and nobody just walks in with another dog and nobody gets loose even though everything's double gated.
Right. Tell me how Peace of Mind started. What was in your mind?
Yeah. So Monica and I had been doing rescue work together for about 12 years. And we were with another organization and we had taken a break from doing rescue. We thought 12 years was enough and we were gonna drink pina coladas, right?
That's right.
But it was only a couple months of our break, and I was taking care of a dog, a spaniel, for someone who was dying of emphysema, and she was so concerned about what was going to happen to her dog, Savvy. I was taking her dog to visit her at the hospice facility, and she actually talked with me about possibly having her put down because she was afraid that she would die and then Savvy would end up in a shelter and be stressed out. And she was a little bit of a nippy dog with strangers, and she just didn't think she would get adopted. So in that moment, I said, the woman's name was Alice, I said, Alice, don't worry, I will make sure that Savvy's okay. And the concept for Peace of Mind just came to me. Peace of Mind Dog Rescue. We would take in dogs from people who were dying, senior citizens going into nursing homes, senior citizens who couldn't take care of their dogs anymore. And because Monica and I had been doing rescue work for 12 years in this area, I knew that that was a niche. That was something that wasn't in the community already. And I called Monica and I told her the idea, and she, said she loved it. Yes, let's do it. And then she had another idea, and I'll let you say what.
Yeah, I also wanted to add to this mission to take in the animals from shelters who were senior animals, because anytime I went to the shelter, or any of us went to the shelter, it's sad to see any animal there, but to see a senior animal there, they're a lot more confused than the young ones. They're the ones that are passed up all the time. So we wanted to make sure to add that as well. So.
Wow. How does it happen that when someone has a dog and they realize they're terminal and they've got to find maybe no family member is going to take the dog on? I mean, there's a lot of costs sometimes that go with senior dogs. Do they make an endowment to Peace of Mind, or how does it work financially for you?
Well, we do have what we call our perpetual care program, where people can set up a pet trust for their dogs. But we've rescued now in 10 years over 1,900 dogs, and I think 10 came with a trust. So it's, most of our expenses are paid through, get donations from the general public, and our community's been very supportive. But so that is available to people to set up a pet trust and sign up with us basically, so that we will guarantee that we will take their dog when they pass away. But that isn't, kind of.
We appreciate a bequest, obviously, but it's not a prerequisite to getting into our program.
It's just great. I think your concept is so brilliant. It needs to be brought across the country, really, what you're doing here. It's just
that might
terrific.
Be one of our things in the future.
It's true to help it across the country. Even right now, when people do ask us, they're trying to start their own organization, Senior Dog Rescue, or parts of what we do, we really try to help them as much as we can and not have them reinvent the wheel. If we have more Peace of Minds across the country, that would really benefit the whole community. So people want to reach out if they have ideas, they can contact you through your website? Absolutely.
peaceofminddogrescue.org. And we've had several organizations, we've met with people, we've sent them all of our forms. I actually have an email already made out that I send to people that these are the steps to start your own organization, and we're happy to mentor other people who want to start something similar.
Fantastic. Monica, Carrie, you guys are true adoption heroes. Thank you so much for coming on AnimalZone, and thanks for bringing these beautiful animals with you. And I hope they find homes. They're forever homes.
They will.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we've got more AnimalZone.
My grandfather taught me about the beauty of the rugs. Each one tells a story. Story about the person who wove it, the person who bought it, the person who inherits it, the person who treasures it. It's amazing how simply looking at an object can bring you back to a different place and time, or remind you of someone you love. At Santa Barbara Design Center, we want to help you find a rug that will travel through time with your family for generations to come. Visit us at 410 Oliver Street and find your treasure today.
The Santa Barbara County Animal Care Foundation is dedicated to saving animals' lives, but we need your help to continue this critical work. SBCACF provides year-round medical and surgical care so that abandoned, homeless, or abused animals receive the best second chance at finding a loving home.
No animal is turned away from surgical care.
To learn more and assist us in keeping that pledge, visit sbcanimalcare.org and make a donation today.
If they can be saved,
we want to save them.
We're here today with Dr. Michaellesser of Pet Specialists of Monterey at his beautiful ranch and farm up in the Carmel Valley area. And great to be back here with you.
Thanks so much.
And we're getting to all these animals you've got. We're going to get to meet them all, huh?
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about our friends here.
So these are where our horses live. This is our barn. And this is Steven. This is my wife Bonnie's horse. He's a quarter horse, and she takes Western lessons on him, and he's wonderful in trails, and he doesn't spook, and he's super well behaved. And he started out on a track taking the thoroughbreds up to the gate. So when we sort of got him from the track, he's really not afraid of anything because he's used to all the chaos going on. So he's the best, most behaved horse we've ever had.
And he likes to eat little candies.
He likes to eat Brock's mints. Any mint will do. He doesn't really care about the brand, but if it's a mint, he likes it. All the horses like mints. That's their favorite treat.
Now, are any of these horses adopted?
None of the horses are adopted, although Jack Anderson, who you may meet, who's our riding donkey, we sort of took him over from somebody who couldn't take care of all their horses anymore. This is Anastasia. Anna, she's called a Dutch warmblood, and she's one of the horses I compete jumping over fences and stuff, mediocre wise, but she helps take care of me and tries to land underneath me whenever we do things. And all the horses in here are super sweet. And
she's
really
huge
nice.
too. How many hands is she?
She's about 16'1",
wow.
And she's a big girl, but not as big as Mariposa, who we may meet, who's a really giant girl. But she's a super sweet horse.
And does she like jumping?
She does. It's her favorite thing to do. She doesn't like to do all the exercises you have to do prior to jumping, all the flat work and all the things to make them sort of go a little better so that they use their bodies more when they jump. She doesn't like that stuff so much. She just likes to jump.
What got you into jumping?
So when I was younger, like middle school, high school, I rode horses, but back then it was like a season. So I did other sports, and then when I wasn't doing my other high school sports, I rode horses. And then I didn't ride for about 25 years. And then I had 2 kids, and my kids started to ride. And when they started to take riding lessons, somebody said, oh, why don't you try one again? So now my kids don't ride, but I ride all the time.
Oh, she's beautiful, and she's big.
Yeah, you know what? I like being at the farm. I like being in the barn. I love the smell of horses and leather and the tack. And I love being around the horses. They're just great animals. They're noble. We have really sweet horses. They're kind. They teach you humility. And they also teach you how to take care of things. You know, I take care of other people's dogs and cats all the time. But I love taking care of the horses.
I noticed that you have other animals here as well.
We do.
What are some of your other adopted animals?
So we have many animals on the farm. Some of our adopted ones is we have 2 pigs from Puerto Rico. After the hurricane, there was a need for all these small pigs that were out and didn't have homes. And so we worked with a veterinary group that was helping to fund this, and 2 of them got flown up here to San Jose, and they live with us now. So we have those 2 pigs. We've adopted a goat who had got rescued from a goat dairy farm because it was a male and they don't want the males at the dairy farm. And when we got him, he had a severe joint infection. And so we took him actually to the local large animal specialty hospital and we treated him with antibiotics. He lived in our living room until he got over his joint infection.
But didn't he eat you out of house and home? I hear they like to nibble on all this stuff.
You know, what I learned then was, I said to my wife, we have a barn. Why doesn't he stay in the barn? And she said, well, he's a herd animal and he'll be lonely, so he has to stay in our living room. And that's what my life has been like since I moved to the farm in Carmel Valley.
And then I noticed that you also have tortoises.
We do. We have 2 tortoises. Tubby is our big tortoise. He's about 24. He's an African sulcata tortoise. He belonged to a couple and the husband had back surgery and they couldn't really take care of him anymore. So we adopted him and he was the first enclosure we built when we moved to the farm was one for Tubby because he can break out of everything. So Tubby's our big one, and then we adopted Fred from the local hay and feed store. He's a smaller African sulcata, so we adopted him as well. We also have an adopted sheep that we got from the livestock auction that was really sick that nobody wanted. He too lived in our living room until he was better. He could go to the barn.
And how's he doing?
He's doing great. He thinks he's an alpaca. He lives with the alpacas and he runs around with them most of the time.
What are alpacas like as far as animals in your home, in your life?
So my wife is really, she knits and she loves yarn. And we had been to an alpaca farm off the coast of Seattle. And she said, someday I want to have alpacas on a farm. And they're very nice animals. They're very easy to work with. This alpaca actually had surgery on his hip. And he's in the barn because he's recovering and he goes out to the pasture about 4 hours a day. They don't really like it when you pet them, but they'll eat out of your hand and they're very, very curious and they'll come right up to you and give you a kiss, but they don't really want you to pet their head so much.
I understand when you sometimes pet their heads, they spit at you.
You know what, our alpacas don't spit at all. Llamas spit more. Alpacas spit at each other, but they don't spit at us too much, so we're lucky.
And this is a mammoth donkey.
This is the famous Jack Anderson, and he is our mammoth riding donkey. Let's see if he'll stick his head out for you. Come here, come say hi. And he's a favorite on the ranch. He's the gentle giant and he's sweet. He sort of is like this wise old soul. And we love Jack Anderson. We take him trail riding. He goes out in the pastures every day. He's got the biggest ears around and he just couldn't be nicer and easier. When we have guests that we want to take riding, we'll always feel safe putting them on Jack Anderson.
And you're mentioning that mammoth donkeys came to America because of, was it
George Washington? That's what I was told. That George Washington really supported the breed and brought it over here and was a person who wanted to see them perpetuated because they could work hard and they were big enough to ride as well. And so you could do different things with these kind of donkeys. And they're not horses. He's super gentle. He's never really afraid of things. They don't buck. They don't run. Yeah, we really like Jack. He's a good boy.
It's a complete different animal than from a horse,
isn't it? It is, absolutely.
Or even from a mule, although they're closely related
Closer to a mule, but yeah, I haven't owned a mule, but he certainly is not a horse.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Wow. You know, there's a lot of wonderful donkeys that are being run off of the lands, especially BLM lands.
Absolutely.
And those are adoptable, which is so great if you have the space and room because they're easy to maintain. They pretty much just feed themselves.
We helped take care of 4 donkeys that were rescued here for a while. They lived in our pasture while they were putting together a corral where they were going to go, and they were rescued donkeys as well. So yeah, no, I think it's a great thing to do. There's horses that need homes, there's donkeys that need homes, there's a lot of animals out there that need homes.
They do, they do. Well, it's a great thing that you adopted them all, and
thank you.
You have a wonderful
They all
farmer.
have a story.
I mean, if it's not Jangle Farm, I'd call this Animal Farm because you really have it. But thank you so much for having us
my
here
pleasure.
today.
Thank you for coming up. I appreciate it.
Great to see you. And we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we've got much more Animal Zone. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Carrie Burns, and I'm the Executive Director for the Santa Barbara Humane Society. And what we want you to know is that Humane Societies are local to each community. No one is associated with the National Humane Society. So when you donate or you adopt, know that everything that you touch is right there in your own backyard. We want you to donate, volunteer, and adopt. For more information, visit sbhumanesociety.org.
Weren't there some amazing animals and guests? You know, you who adopt animals from shelters, you are the true heroes. If you want to see more about AnimalZone and other things, check out our website, animalzone.org, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Never was a friend so true, Never was a friend like you. Canine, you're my best friend. Canine of mine, friend for all time. So glad you're my best friend. Through thick and thin, we'll see things through. Canine of mine, so true. Did I find you or did you find me? Either way, it's still serendipity. When I saw you, it was plain to see you weren't just another lassie wannabe. Oh, canine of mine, friend for all time. I'm so glad you're my best friend.